Pray together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad. So welcome to one and all for the third session on early childhood language development. So in the first week, we saw that how to support the child during their early years and how to make the child capable, lovable, how to instill self-esteem in the child, how as adults we can support the child, and what are the different areas where we can teach the child. Everything we learned in the first session. In the second session, we learned all about practical life exercises there, which is very important from young age, how to teach the daily chores to our children, care of self, care of environment, movement, and grace and courtesy. All these 4 areas we covered. And then we also learned how to set the environment at home, how the environment should be set at home so that everything is at child's level and the child is able to do all his work independently without ever depending on the parents. So practical life exercises, we also gave a numerous examples where how we could teach the children, what we could teach the children, and what age. We spoke about sensitive periods. These sensitive periods will never come back once they are past. Like they're all transient, they're temporary. So how to make use of the sensitive periods, these all we learned in the second session. Now to the third session. So now we come to the third session where we are dealing with early childhood language development. And as we all know, before the child can read and write, the speech is very important. The way he speaks, isn't it? The way he communicates, it's very necessary for communicating within the family, with the friends, outside, everywhere. Speech and language is very, very important. We can develop as a baby, right from a baby till maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, how we can develop the language. Today is that topic, early childhood language development. And we have esteemed Lalitha Didi, who is the secretary of Vivekananda Kendra Kallubalu. She is here with us to guide us. Lalitha Didi, over to you.
Namaste. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Dear Jayashri Akka and all sisters and brothers, namaste to everybody. Already Jayashri Akka has given what we have discussed in the last 2 sessions. Today we will concentrate on early childhood language development. Whether screen is visible? There is one shloka in Sanskrit which says about the language, what to speak and how to speak. Shloka says, Priya Vakya Pradhanena Sarve Tushyanti Jantavaha Tasmat Priyanti Vaktavyam Vachane Katar Daridratha. That means we have to speak pleasantly. Then everybody enjoys the pleasant speaking. And that is the case, why there should be Daridrata for pleasant speaking. This is what the Subhashita says. Similarly, Veda says Satyam Vada, but along with that it says Priyam Vada. Na apriyam Satyam Vadet. That means don't speak the truth, even though it is truth, but we should not speak unpleasant truth. So, how to train our children from their young age to speak pleasantly as well as speak the truth. Okay, here there are two aspects. One is the speech and the other one is the language. Something like hardware and software. We know even though we have got very good software, if hardware is not compatible, software will not work. In the same way, hardware we may be having the best quality, but if software is not all right, it doesn't work. So both hardware and software has to go hand in hand. Same thing with the language. Already you have heard in the last two sessions what all the care we have to take pre-pregnancy period, during the pregnancy, and when the child is very young. But still, I will repeat one or two informations. We have heard many stories, like story of Abhimanyu, Ashtavakra, which says children learn when they are in the womb itself. But we think these are all stories. But there is a book called Ayurvedic Garbha Samskara. I don't know whether it was referred in the previous session. This book originally published in Marathi language, but later it is available in English also. Reference is given here. This Ayurvedic Garbha Samskara, it tells the parents who are planning to become parents what are the preparation they have to do before even pregnancy. What sort of environment should be at home, what sort of food they have to take, what exercises they have to do, what books they should read, everything, what sort of music they should listen, everything in detail is given in this Ayurvedic Garbha Samskara. I had what I can say, I have seen a couple. They are still working in our school, VKV Dibrugarh in Assam, maybe some 13-14 years back. They decided they should have a child, but they wanted a child which can become a very samskaric child and who can contribute to the society. So they got into this Ayurvedic Garbha Samskara. They had practiced whatever was guided through this book. And later they got twins. And I had the opportunity to meet these two twins when they were in class 4. Presently they are in class 6. For everybody's surprise, the samskara what these two children have got, really something unbelievable. Even for playing sake, they don't tell the lie. Even while playing, they do not, even for the fun, they do not cheat anybody. And they speak 4 languages fluently when they started speaking at the age of 2.5. It was so surprising. Marathi, their mother tongue, Assamese, their local language, English and Hindi, all the 4 languages fluently when they first started talking. And there I got the confidence that Ayurvedic Garbha Samskara, whatever we were hearing only stories, to create such children, we can try even today, so that you can share this information with other expecting parents, so that this is the software part of the, not only the language, even the life of the child, where we can take care before their birth itself. Then all of us know the story of two parrots. It is a Jataka story where in a forest there were two parrots. Mother parrot was taking care of these two baby parrots. One day it happened, these two, one hunter came there, he took away both the baby parrots. But somehow one parrot escaped from hunter. Later, one sadhu came there, he took the other baby parrot which was lying down there, and he took it to his ashram. Whereas the other parrot, baby parrot, it went to hunter's house. After a few days, one king was passing through that place. He was very thirsty. He had lost his way. Then he thought, he saw the house of this hunter. He thought he will go there and ask for water. The moment he was almost near the house, parrot started shouting, "King is coming here. Catch him, beat him, kill him." King was surprised. Then he did not feel like going there. He just left the place and he was further moving. Then he saw the ashram. He entered the ashram. To his great surprise, there was similar parrot there. The moment the parrot saw this king, he said, "Maharaj, please come in. Suswagatam for you. Please take rest. Do you want water to drink?" Like that, very sweet words this parrot started speaking. When king got surprised, he asked, "You see, just now I met one more parrot. He was looking exactly like you, but his behavior was so different from your behavior. Why it is like this?" Then this parrot replied, "Yes, we are the twin brothers. But it happened so, I got the opportunity to live in this ashram under the guidance of this Sadhu Maharaj. So I have learned this behavior, this language. Whereas my brother, he has to live in the company of a hunter. That's why he has learned the language for which he was exposed." That's why Bhagavad Gita says, "Yadyad acharati shreshtaha." Whatever our elders, they behave, they speak, children pick it up. That's why creating an environment for the language development in the home is very, very necessary. That's why we have to take care, not only for our sake, for the child in future. If we want him to be a better person, we have to take care of our language. Now, let us see what all the cares we can take for the development of the language. Mainly it is said there are 3 stages of communication. First one is between 0 to 2 years. We have to give maximum exposure to repeat the word and the phrases. Here also I had the opportunity to see a child. Maybe it was around 95. In Kanyakumari, Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya, there was some teachers training program. One didi from Maharashtra had come. I think her name was Maithili or something. I do not exactly remember. Along with her, her 3-year-old daughter had come. For everybody's surprise, that child was speaking 12 languages fluently with exact pronunciation of each language. Then we were all asking how it could happen. A child of 3 years old speaking 12 languages. Then she said, yes, before the conceiving the child, what all the preparation she has done. Then once the child took birth, that child was exposed to all the 12 languages. Because this is the crucial period, 0 to 2 years. We think child do not understand anything. And many times, without considering child is observing everything and observing it, we, even in our mind also, we may think something different, we may behave in a different way, we may speak differently. But child will be observing and observing everything. So she said it is at that period, this child was exposed to 12 different languages. Child could not speak anything, but it went on observing. But at the age of 2.5 years, when child started speaking, she could speak all the 12 languages. Then only we understood this is the age where child can learn maximum languages. But her child's hardware part will not be ready. That's why child will not be able to speak, but child will be learning it. So this precious period of the child life, we have to give maximum attention. We have to give maximum exposure for the child to listen and observe. Very recently, maybe 2 months back, I could see another child. That child was only 4 months old, but that child was speaking few words, and even child was humming the music. It is because of that child's grandmother. She went on, she herself was a very talkative lady. She went on talking to her grandchild. When child was 4 months old, child started calling Ajji, grandmother. Then many more people were visiting house. Child could call them by their names. She was only 4 months old, and the entire video is with me. But then parents feel that video should not be shown because child is very young, that should not be exposed to that extent. That's why I'm not showing that video. But that child even hums the humming sound of the music, because maximum music was, that child was exposed to the music. That's why at the age of 4 months, now that child is only 6 months old. That means we have to take maximum care of our children at this age. Then between 2 to 3 years old, normally children will be able to pick up 150 to 300 words. There are any number of activities which can be taught to the children to increase their vocabulary. Even for the age group of 3 to 5, there is one book, Early Childhood Development by Meena Swaminathan. If you get a chance, even in the online, that book is available. If you refer that book, you will get hundreds of activities for each age group. What all the activities can be taught at home, that author deals with in that book. Next. Now let us see the role of parents in developing language in child. As already we were discussing, it is creating a language learning friendly family environment.
Kelsko.
So here I can share any number of experiences because we also deal with lot of children.
Kelsko, Rago. Ninigene.
So I can share few experiences here. Because even in our school campus, we have got more than 10 children. They are in the age group of this 0 to 5 or 0 to 7. So one such example, there is child who came here. When she came, she was only 2 years old. Maybe her samskara also would have contributed for it. When she came here, our routine is like that, morning 5:15, they have to come here for the prayer. They will do Agnihotra. Then they will have Pratasmaran, then some yoga practice. Then evening once again, 6:30 to 7:30, Agnihotra and Bhajan. So this child, she was not speaking anything, but somehow she started attending every day morning and evening sessions. By the age 2.5, 3 years old, she started speaking so well now Kannada and English she speaks fluently because environment is here, and any shloka, whichever is taught to her, she will pick up within 2 or 3 rounds. More than that, now she is 6 years old. She is studying in class 1. When she comes every day evening, now she feels that now I have learned many shlokas. Now I should know the meaning of these shlokas. So every day we have to tell her the meaning of one Bhagavad Gita shloka with a relevant story. And one day I got surprised. She never misses both morning and evening session. That too 5:15 in the morning, whether it is raining, whether it is cold, but she doesn't miss. Then I asked her, and I was not sure that whether she understands Bhagavad Gita shlokas or not. But to my great surprise, what she said, they have told Abhyasa Vairagya. So without regular Abhyasa, you will not be able to pick up anything. That's why whether I am sick, there are guests at home, or whatever it may be, I have got homework or test, but I do not want to miss because I want to keep up this Abhyasa. Then whenever any guest comes here, I ask her to tell some of the shlokas meaning.
And today, after COVID, after pandemic, we are more sensitive, we are more empathetic towards each other, and that is what it shows in our films. Thank you so much for that.
Our great surprise, she will be able to tell the meaning of the shlokas also. That means if we create a friendly environment, a congenial environment, definitely children have got immense capacity to learn anything, whichever they get the exposure. Similarly, the next one is speak to your child as much as possible you can. This is what previously also I had told. We think child do not understand, but child understand. It is the period for the child to grasp everything, because hardware part of the child is not developed. Child will not be able to express, but we should not stop our effort. We have to keep on talking to the child as much as possible. When the day comes, we will be so surprised. Child will be able to repeat back whatever child has heard or learned in that period. And the next one is we have to encourage our child to speak. Many times it happens, we do not give chance to the child to speak. We keep on advising, don't do this thing, don't do that thing. Like that, it will be only commands we'll be giving, we'll be advising. But the more and more we give a chance for the child to speak, child will get the confidence, as well as child will get the exposure, child will be able to speak better. Similarly, we have to teach the gestures also at this age. Because when somebody comes telling namaste, or when somebody is leaving, telling them Ram Ram, like that many samskaras we can teach through the gestures. When some elders come, doing pranam to them, when we go to the temple, doing pranams, like that lot of gestures, through that even we can pass on the entire samskara to the children at this age. So that if the child learns all these gestures, definitely later the samskara we can see in the behavior of the child. And the next thing is we have to read to our child. Here also, child will be having immense capacity to understand. More than that, if we keep on not only reading, even telling stories also. Here also, we learn more from the children. I would like to share an experience here. Most probably it happened in 2001, from 20-21 years back. Even during that period, there was one child in our campus. He was only 2.5 years old. He also used to come for prayer morning and evening. And every day evening, I used to tell him stories. Then he used to enjoy the stories so much. But there used to be many people in the evening prayer. This particular child, he used to ask me to repeat the story every day, same story. Maybe this is your experience also. Same story for 10 days, 15 days, child keeps on repeating, tell me the same story. Other people used to get bored. Every day, same story, every day, same story. But we can make little bit alteration, little bit more vocabulary, different actions, but story. But that child taught me a very, very interesting lesson, very important lesson in the life. He was only 2.5 years old. Then every day same story was going on. That is the story of rabbit and the lion. All of us know the story. Rabbit was very intelligent. When he goes as a food to the lion to his cave, he was so intelligent. He said, lion asked him why you were late. He says, on the way there was one more lion. He did not allow me to come here, but I told him that I'll be coming and meeting you. That's why he should not eat me. Then this lion got angry. He says, show me that lion. Because I am the only lion in this forest and I am the king of this forest. How come one more lion came here? Then this rabbit takes him to a well where he shows the lion. See, there is one more lion in the well. And the lion see the reflection of himself, thinking that there is one more lion in the well. He jumps to the water and he dies. That is the story. But this particular child was asking me to tell the same story for more than 15 days. Everybody got bored. But I also could not understand why this child is asking the same story. Then all of a sudden one day flashed to me, most probably child is not understanding what is this story. Then bringing all the materials from the school, I arranged one visual, that is a forest, some trees in that, some animals, some small plastic dolls, and one cave, one lion, one small bowl in that water. Everything was arranged. That day, while telling the story, entire thing was enacted through these dolls. Then finally, when the lion comes to the well, here it was a bowl of water. Then lion could see his face in that water, where his face was reflected. The moment face of the lion was reflected in the water, child was so happy. He said, "Now I understood the story." Then next day he did not ask the same story. Then I also understood when we are using some words in the story, child may not understand those words. Then if we are little bit sensitive to the response of the child, we'll be able to make the child understand even the words what we are using. And the same child has taught me many more things, how to tell the story. For example, one day I was telling the story of Hanuman, who is throwing back the Sanjeevani Parvata after treating Rama and Lakshmana. And the same thing like telling Jai Shri Ram, and he threw the mountain, it became pieces. Then evening he went home. Whatever he found in the house, he started throwing it, telling Jai Shri Ram. Then mother was in trouble. She said, because of your story, whole house is getting disturbed. Then I also started wondering what is wrong with my story. And another day there was a story on Sri Krishna, how Sri Krishna kills the Rakshasas, like Bakasura, like how he killed a snake, opening the mouth. Then next day, this child went to village. He assembled all the, he was hardly 3 years old at that time, assembled all the children of the village. He told them the story. After completing the story, he wanted to present the story. He made one child to open the mouth. So that child got hurt. Then mother was really in trouble. These stories are troubling not only the child, even the neighboring children. Then she came telling, I do not know how to handle the child now. Because anything in the story he was to go enact it. Then I was also facing the problem, what to do with this child. Then I got an opportunity to go to Arvindo Ashram, Pondicherry. There was one teacher's training program. There one resource person was there. I asked him, when the child listens to the story, he goes and behaves like this. So what is wrong in this? Whether telling the story itself is wrong. Then he gave me a book. Mother of Pondicherry, she has written a book on education. In that she gives lot of guidance to the teachers how to tell the stories. In that she mentions it is not sufficient to tell the stories to the children. You have to create the environment Because child is not only listening to the story, child is getting the message out of the story. For example, same Hanuman story. When the story was told, child was looking into that aspect of Hanuman that his shoulders have got so much strength. When he throws something, entire the mountain was getting into the pieces. So the child wants to develop the strength in his shoulders. So telling story doesn't end with just telling some, giving some information to the child, but immediately after telling the story, what exactly you want message to reach the child. Those activities has to be associated with the story. Then only real benefit of the stories will reach the child. So like that, if we refer some more books, then we will also understand just telling story is not sufficient. Stories should be associated with some activities. So this is how reading stories or telling stories we have to take care. Listen and talk to your child carefully, because child likes to express many things. Many times child will not be getting the proper words, but it will be trying. And many times child creates its own words. It will be very, very creative. I have also seen when small children, there will not be such words at all, but they have got the capacity to create new words. And we also get stunned that so many new vocabulary comes to the child. That's why we have to be very, very carefully deal with the children at this age. Make picture book with our child. This is also when child can understand, express through the pictures, we have to spend some time with the child. It is the quality time which helps the child to learn more. So we have to have lot of patience, lot of creativity. Everything child invites into them. Then milestones. Generally, if we observe our children, when the child is 0 to 6 months, he will be responding when we call him. When some sound is heard, if somebody enters the room, he will be turning to that side, looking into it and responding. And then if he is happy, he will produce some sound. If he is unhappy, he will be producing different type of sound. Like that, it is the normal milestone. By the 6 months old, child should be able to respond to the sounds. Then when child is 12 months old, child should be able to speak few words with meaning. Because child should enter. If child knows to tell amma or appa or water, child means that it is water, it is mother, it is father. Like that, with the meaning, child will speaking few words. Then when child is 1.5 years old, usually 5 to 20 words, child will be able to express. Then when child is 2 years old, 150 to 200 words normally, a child will be able to express. When child is 3 years old, 900 to 1000 words. By that time, child is 5 years old, generally child will be able to understand more vocabulary will be around 5000 words, it is said. Now at this age, what are different ways to develop the language? First one is echoing. That means, as already I have told, we have to keep on repeating the words to the child. This is what in the case of that 4 months child, grandmother was continuously telling the same word to the child, so that at the 4 months itself, child could be able to repeat the word. Only thing is we should have the patience to repeat the same word. The child has got the capacity to echo, give back the same sound and same word. And the next one is recasting. So once child will start expressing few words, we know generally child vocal cord is not developed. So many letters child will not be able to pronounce properly. Example, ka, kha, such ra, such words child will not be able to present it properly. But generally what happens in the house, because child in his childish language, when it speaks, elderly people also start repeating, imitating the same words like the child. But in this process, we are hampering the growth of the child. Whenever child tries to express something, if the words are not properly pronounced, we should not tell the child what you are telling is wrong, but we have to tell the correct word. Say for Tata, child may say Tata, because Tata sound will not be able to pronounce. But we should not go back to the child sound. We have to, each time when child says words not in a correct way, we have to repeat the correct pronunciation. Then child will be able to pick up the language, correct language in a faster way. Similarly, in the next stage, expanding. That means when child learns few words, say child wants water. Child will not be able to tell that I want water. So child only tell water. When child says water, we will express, do you want water? Will you drink water? Will you take water to somebody? Like that, expanding that word in a sentence. Then child will be able to pick up the language in a better way. Otherwise, the moment child says water, child says biscuit, child shows the gesture towards the some eatables, immediately we keep on providing what, because we understand what child expects. It may hamper the growth of the language. We will give them, but along with that, we will speak to the child also in a full sentence. Then child also, from the words, child will start speaking sentences with 2 words, 3 words. Similarly, labeling is also another way to develop the language. As we already saw, vocabulary will be in the beginning only 5 to 10, then it will be somewhere 100, 200 like that. Many times vocabulary will be very less for the children. What we can do, child will not be speak, but when we take the child around in the house or outside, each and every object in the house has to be introduced to the child. This is window, this is door, this is TV, this is spoon, this is tomato, this is brinjal, like that. Every item in the house and in and around has to be introduced to the child repeatedly, not once or twice, so that it has to register. Then later when child starts speaking, child's vocabulary will be sufficiently bigger. Vocabulary child will be having. Similarly, reading. Nowadays, lot of books are available in the market for the particular age group. We can make use of those books, or making the child also the part of preparing the book. Then not only reading, child will understand even the skill of preparing lot of items in the book. Maybe some preparation of the doll, some pasting, making small balls. This is another activity which will help even for their finer muscles. We must have seen when children are very small, they keep on tearing the papers, because child knows unconsciously they need finer muscles exercise. So helping the child to even tear papers, small pieces, make it a small balls, and make some design, paste it, and make its own book. And child will start reading, making its own book. So that also child will be able to develop its language. Then the next one, as already we know the milestones. If child is already 1 year old, child is not using the gestures. For example, if somebody comes, if you ask the child to tell namaste, child will not be able to tell. Child will not be, if child wants to eat something, child will not be able to show it through the gestures. then we have to understand that child has got some problem. We have in the earlier stage, if we able to find it out, it will be better. We can take care. Similarly, when the child is 1.5 years old, if at that age, if child starts using the gestures, if he wants one thing, if he wants water, just if he shows a gesture, or eating food, he shows the gesture instead of telling that I want water, I want food. That means child is not capable of expressing through the words. Similarly, when child is becoming 2 years, if we tell the child, come here, go there, call somebody, give thing to somebody, like that, if we give some verbal instructions, if child is not capable of following and understanding it, then we have to think about it. Similarly, if we tell something, child finds it difficult to imitate the sound. Then also we can understand there is some problem in the child and we have to take care. Then there is one more Sanskrit shloka. How can parents help their child's language development? Here we have to have some understanding. This shloka tells about it. Pruthivyam trini ratnani jalamannam subhashitam mudha pashana khandeshu ratna sanya vidhiyate. That means in this world there are 3 ratnas, that is jalam, annam and subhashitam. Only mudha, ignorant people, they consider stones as ratna. But subhashita means good words. They are the real wealth of the child. That's why we have to take care whether our child can speak a pleasant, a good language. For that, what all the things can be done. So some of the things which we can do in our own environment, teaching shlokas. As many shlokas as possible, we can teach our children. For that, we ourselves have to learn. As we know, Sanskrit is a most scientific language. It will help the child to develop the entire personality so that their pronunciation, their understanding, even their IQ will improve. In the very young age, their memory power also improves. From the very young age, if we start teaching them shlokas, then telling stories with expression. Already I have told one story of a child, an experience which I have shared. So through stories also, child will be learning language or expanding the knowledge itself. Then already it is discussed, introducing everything in the environment around, so that child's vocabulary and child's understanding also improves. Then allowing the child to interact with other members, animals, nature, even with Panchabhutas. The more and more child plays with the Panchabhutas, we know, playing with the mud and soil, sand, playing with the water, all these things helps child to not only develop its language, its understanding, even its psychological maturity also improves. That's why we should allow the child to interact with the nature. And games. There are many games available for that particular age group. As already I mentioned, one big book, that Meena Swaminathan book, gives hundreds of games for this age group that we have to play with the children. Then nowadays, lot of audio, visuals, YouTube available, but these things has to be used very judiciously. When there is no other alternate, or when we are with the children, only then we can give only selected videos can be shown to the children. Otherwise, nowadays, children are becoming addicted to this media, that we know. That's why we should keep it as a last resort for the child. And in spite of all our efforts, still if children are not responding or not reaching the milestones, then we can go to a doctor, consulting medical support only at that stage. But before that, we have to try all our efforts has to be given. If we have done it, definitely there will not be much problem with the children. And sometimes it is necessary to understand the child. Here, I will share few experiences how to understand the child, whether the child has got problem. For example, when I was in one of our school in Assam, we had a teacher. Her child was in class 3 when I went to that school. And to everybody's surprise, that child, because mother was teacher in the school, that child never used to leave the mother. Mother, whichever class she goes, child will go with her only. Then child had no courage to talk to anybody, to look into anybody's face. Then one day the teacher came to me. She said, I do not know what is the problem with my child. I do not know how to deal with that. And that particular family is one of the well-known cultural family of Assam, because many of their family members were good writers, good artists. Then many cultural events they used to take part. In that family, this particular child was behaving like this. Apparently, there was no problem with the child. Then, while talking to mother, one thing came into our knowledge. It is something like this. Because she was working and nobody was at home, she had appointed an ayah to take care of the child. When child was very young, maybe 6 months old or so, because she was working in the school, she used to leave the child with the ayah. And she was thinking that that lady is taking care of the child. But what she was doing, once the mother goes to school, she will put that child in the dark room and something forcefully she will give that child to eat, and she will close the door. She will sit in the outside room. Either she will watch TV or she will talk to the neighboring people, and she never took care of the child. And child was so small, child could not express anything. And finally, when child grew and he came to the school, there was, in his behavior, we could see a lot of problem. Then once she came to know, by the time it was a bit late, then later she started taking care of the child. But damage had already happened. Now, how to correct it? Then one suggestion was given to her. Problem with the child is in the subconscious level. Because child was so small, whatever child has experienced, it has gone deep into his subconscious level. So it was told to the mother, evening when child goes to the sleep, child is not completely awake, child is not into the sleep. There is a stage, you must have observed your children. Slowly, child from the conscious state, it goes to the subconscious state, then it goes to deep sleep. So when child is in that subconscious level, mother has to keep her palm on the forehead of the child, and mentally she has to communicate to the child whatever she wants to communicate. Say, as your mother, I am with you. I understand what is your problem. I will not leave you alone. You be confident. You face the world bravely. You develop the courage. Like that, instruction has to be given. It is mental instruction, not telling it loudly, but the vibrations which mother transfers to the child picks it up. Like that, after 6 months, child started developing the confidence. And to everybody's surprise, when he was in class 6, he was because the family was having a very good cultural background. This child also got into dhol. That is one of the traditional musical instrument of Assam. And when he was in class 6, he participated in a program which has gone into the Guinness World Record. And later his interview had come in the newspaper. Mother has done the cuttings of that newspaper. That means even some damage happens to the children, we can try, especially mother can try to correct it. Like that, I can share one more experience which happened in this school, in this Kallubalu school, maybe in the 2002 or so. Children from age group of 2.5, they come to the school. Pre-KG, they come to school. Usually, we do not compel the children to get into the classroom the day one they come here. Because we have got open space, we'll allow the children to play, adjust themselves. When they themselves feel like entering into the classroom, we allow them to sit in the classroom. Usually within 10 days, 15 days, usually every child starts entering to the class voluntarily. But this particular child, he was not ready to enter the class at all. He never used to disturb anybody. He will come, he will sit under a coconut tree. His tiffin box, his bag, everything will be with him. During when every children will start taking lunch, he will eat lunch. If he want to sleep, he will sleep under the coconut tree. Evening when the van comes, he will go home. It continued for 3 months. Then we started understanding there is some problem with the child. Then we called the parents. Both of them are well educated, well-to-do family. Apparently, there is no problem with the family. Then, after talking to them, we also could not make out that there is some problem in the family. Then finally, I asked her one question. When you have conceived this child, was there any problem with him? When this question was asked, she started crying. Then she said yes. Even husband was not knowing that what problem she was facing, because apparently, absolutely there was no problem in the family. Then she said, yes, I am born and brought up in a city, in a very full freedom I had in my family. Even I was working before getting married. Then I was given in marriage to a village, which is a very traditional Orthodox family, where women are not permitted to go out of the house. So I was never allowed to go out of the gate. Only when my husband or some family members are there, along with them I can go out. Otherwise it was not permitted. So when I conceived, every day I was crying within, and I was feeling that I should go out, I should run away from this house. So this feeling was very strong in me. And when the child took birth in a hospital, that child also started crying so pathetically. No nurse, nobody could console the child. And finally, child was taken to the open air outside. Then all of a sudden, child stopped crying. And only when the child was brought inside, child started crying. Then, since that day, now child is more than 2.5 years old. She said every day he doesn't want to come inside the house. He is always outside. Only when he sleeps, we bring him inside. His food, his everything is outside. Then same suggestion was given to her. When the child goes to sleep, when he is in the subconscious level, communicate to him. Yes, I had such feelings when you were in my womb, but now I have understood. You don't worry, you have got full freedom. You can move around. There is no problem. Now in the school, you can go inside the classroom, you can sit, you can learn. You have got freedom. Whenever you want, you can come out. So within 3-4 months, we could see there was lot of changes we could find in the child. He started attending the class. Like that, first we had to understand every time, instead of going to the doctor immediately, if we are a bit sensitive, we will be able to understand what is the problem with the child. So these are all some of the things. Now, time is up. If you want to share something from your side, you can share. Or if you want to ask something, you can ask. Ultimately, it is the environment what we create. Ultimately, it is how much quality time we give to our children that matters. Understanding the child.
Didi, I would like to add one point to whatever you have spoken so elaborately. It was such a nice session. One is baby talk, Didi, what I would like to suggest. Like usually when a baby is born into the household, the parents and the relatives tend to speak.
Hey!
Okay. So usually the people around the child start to talk in baby language, like mammu. Usually in Karnataka, we say that for uta, mammu matya, avu kuditya. So what happens is those that baby talk is limited to that family. Sometimes those words are not understood by the others. So we had one child in our school who is to tell tar, tell. And we as teachers, we asked in all the ways, but we couldn't understand what the child was able to communicate. So it was almost 1 week. And when the parent teacher meeting happened, that the parents came and told me the child was asking water. It is water. So the child couldn't say. They taught him as tar. And for bottle, they taught the child as tull. So the child used to say tar, tull. And then we never understood that it was water bottle. So this baby talk, it's better, I think the parents avoid this baby talk and talk in pure, like as if they're treating the child as an adult. This is what I wanted to share. And yes, that point what you told about listening, it's very, very true, because once the child gets up in the morning, he's just listening to his parents. Brush your teeth, you do that, you do this, you take bath, you sit steady, now you eat you drink your milk, get ready, go to school. The child goes to school, he sits in the class, he's listening from morning till evening. And because of want of time, the teachers are unable to listen to the child or allow the child to talk. Again, the child comes back, he switches on the TV, or there also he's continuously listening. So when he is going to talk. So talking to the children, very, very important. That's what I wanted to share, Didi. Anybody else you want to ask any questions to Didi? Please unmute and ask.
Good evening, Didi. This is Asha over here.
Yeah.
It was a really wonderful session, actually, when I am a teacher who teaches playgroup kids between the age group of 1.5 to 2.5. And every day is a learning for us with the curiosity questions, what they ask us. Here, I'd like to ask you just one question, that in my class, there is a child who's very smart, very, naughty. Everything is there. She listens to whatever we say in the class. But when she touches the face of another child, she says, let me touch the face. But by the time she goes and touches the cheek, she tries to scratch the cheek. In such a case, how do we avoid this from the child?
Here, as I already said, there is some background of the child where child has developed this thing. Maybe it has observed something, or in this very young childhood, it has experienced something of that type. That has to be found out.
Okay,
As
why?
already
Because we have always told her, do a soft touch, gentle touch. I even tell her, just try to scratch me first. So when she scratched me, I felt hurt. So she felt it. It's getting hurt. Then again, I tell her, you just touch me, to make her feel that it's a gentle touch. But immediately, within a fraction of a second, again, when she goes to touch the child, she again scratches the face.
It is because of the subconscious mind which becomes active at that time. So if you can make out through some or the other way, why child is behaving like this. For example, here also I can tell you one more example. One child got into our school in Tinsukia for LKG, rather UKG is our first entry point. He came to UKG, very healthy, very hefty child, and he used to beat other children to that extent where even teachers could not bear his beatings. Then another, and his words were also very harsh words he used to use, which we cannot expect a child of his age can speak. Then nothing could work on that child. Then finally I told the teachers, find out the background of the family. Then we understood his father was in previously insurgency group Alpha. Later he was a surrender Alpha, they are called. That means father has got the, what we say, a background of killing many people.
Oh.
When we become a part of insurgency group, they don't hesitate to go to any extent of cruelty. That has gone to this child. So now telling anything in the physical level will not help much. We have to go to the subconscious level. There only we have to correct them. First, we have to find out what is the reason for it. Maybe talking to the mother or some family members, you may be able to find out why exactly child is behaving like this. Because any number of telling child accept for that moment, but next moment it repeats. Because it is the subconscious which is controlling the child rather than the conscious mind.
Okay. Okay, Didi. It was nice talking to you. I hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Didi, you can stop sharing the slide, Didi.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any more questions? Okay, then we come to the end of this session. So next week, so the first week, we are having a progression. First week, we learned about early childhood development. Then we learned practical life exercises. Then this session, we learned early child language development. So in the last session, we'll be dealing about mental health. So the mental health of the children, as well as how the mental health of the parents is going to affect the early childhood in children. Apart from this, we'll be learning about disabilities, about studies, learning disabilities. So what are the different types of learning disabilities? What are the symptoms of learning disabilities? And how, as we parents or teachers, find out, like if that any particular child is having any disability, learning disability, or having, okay, like ADHD is there, depression may be there, anxiety may be there, dyslexia may be there. There are so many things. So everything regarding mental health we'll be dealing in the next week. It will be a 1.5 hour session because topics are very important and elaborate. I hope everybody joins next week to avail the benefits as of parenting. We will close the session thanking Lalitha Didi, who gave a beautiful session on early childhood language development. Thank you so much, Didi, for giving us your precious time. I request Smitaji to conclude the session with the closing prayer.
All of you, bring your hands to Namaskar Mudra. Gently close your eyes. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschet dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Dhanyavadaha. See you all next week.